In last class, we have studied motherboard. What are the components of motherboard? How the motherboard looks like, and what is the internal structure of the motherboard. Yes, BIOS and CMOS are kept powered by small, these are BIOS and CMOS. BIOS and CMOS are kept powered by small lithium ion battery located on the motherboard. See here. BIOS and CMOS are powered by small lithium ion battery located on the motherboard. There is a one lithium ion battery located or situated on the motherboard that will be used to supply some power to this BIOS and CMOS chip. Both BIOS is an input output chip or small chip, and this CMOS is an metal or memory chip. That BIOS stores the instructions, set of instructions which are necessary for setting the hardware devices, and this CMOS is a memory chip which stores the system setup parameters such as date, time, and other setups such as volume and all. Is it clear? Slots. What do you mean by slots? Slots are the another component, or slots is an another component of the motherboard. This slot is an opening space in a computer. Slots is an opening space. Slot is an opening space in a computer where we can insert a printed circuit board. Slot is a opening space in the computer where we can insert a printed circuit board. Slots are often called expansion slots. There are several types of slots are available. Now see here, slot is what? It is an opening space in the computer where we can insert our printed circuit board. Slot is an opening space where we can insert our printed circuit board. Slots are often also called as an expansion slots. Now there are several types of slots are ISA, that is industry standard architecture. ISA slot is used to connect modem and input devices. So ISA is an industry standard architecture slot which is used to connect modem and input devices. Modem is what? Modem is a device which converts the analog signal into digital signal and digital signal into analog signal. Now to connect modem and input devices, this ISA slot is used. PCI. PCI is an peripheral component interconnect. Peripheral component interconnect. This slot are used to connect graphics, accelerator cards, sound cards, internal modems or SCSI cards. So PCI, peripheral component interconnect. These slots are used to connect graphics acceleration card, that is to connect the graphic card, sound card, modem card, internal modem cards. This PCI is used. They are much faster than ISA cards. So ISA card which connects only modem and input devices, this peripheral component interconnect, that is PCI, these are the faster than this ISA card. AGP, that is accelerated graphic port. So AGP slot is an advanced port designed for video cards and 3D accelerator. See here, AGP is an accelerated graphic port which graphics in this sense we can see here two-dimensional and three-dimensional images. So to make use of such videos or images, there is a need of these graphic cards. So accelerated graphic port or slot is an advanced port which is designed for video cards and 3D accelerators, that is to hold the 2D 3D videos as well as images. This graphic card or the graphic this slot is used for using the accelerated graphic port. Next, RAM slot. RAM slot is used to install memory to store programs and data currently being used by the CPU. So RAM slot is a slot or it is an area open space on the motherboard such that, or the area where we can install memory, primary memory. RAM is an primary memory. So to install that memory which stores programs and data or instructions which are currently being used by the CPU, that is which are ready to execute the program or the instructions which are ready for execution. Only such type of data or instruction or a program is stored in the RAM. Now RAM is measured in units called as an bytes. We know that RAM is a primary memory. So this primary memory or any memory is is measured in units called as an bytes. Now there are two types of RAM slots. Two types of RAM slots. One is SIMM and another is DIMM. Now SIMM is a single inline memory module and DIMM is a dual inline memory module. Next, processor slot. So we know what is slot. Slot is an opening space in the computer where we can insert the printed circuitry board. That is, it is a space allowing for storing our other devices. Is that clear? It is a printed circuitry board in this sense. What? This is the motherboard. So slot is what? It is a space in the computer such that we can place our all the hardware components or small unit devices on the board. So it is a place. So processor slot, RAM slot, all these are the space for storing our component. RAM slot stores the RAM, processor slot stores the processor. Like this, the graphic AGP, this slot stores the accelerated graphic port and so on. So processor slot is used to insert the processor chip which is the largest chip on the motherboard. See that processor slot is an area or space where we can insert our processor chip, which is the largest in the motherboard. Is that clear? Next is an disk controllers. Disk controller is another component present in the motherboard. So disk controllers is another component on the motherboard. A device that connects a disk drive to the computer's bus, enabling the drive to exchange data with other devices. A device that connects disk drive to the computer's bus, enabling the drive to exchange data with other devices. Here disk controller is a device that which connects disk drives to the computer's bus. In this sense, last class we have studied what is bus. So bus is nothing but these are a group of the wires which transfers data and instruction from one unit to another unit or from one component to another component. Here disk drive is we can say it is something like a memory. So this to transfer the data from disk drive to bus, there is a need of connecting the devices. That device is nothing but disk controller. So disk controller is a device that connects a disk drive to the computer's bus, which enabling the drive to exchange the data with other devices. So to connect this bus and disk drives, there is a device which connects these. It is called as a disk controllers. Next, hard disk controller, HDC. So hard disk controller is the HDC is the interface that enable the computer to read and write information to the hard disk drive. The HDC is the interface. HDC stands for hard disk controller. The hard disk controller is the interface that enables the computer to read and write information to the hard disk drive. So it is an HDC acts as an interface which enables the computer to read and write the information to the hard disk. So to input the data into the hard disk as well as to access the data from the hard disk, there is a HDC acts as an interface for this. In this sense, HDC acts as this hard disk controller acts as an interface which enables the computer to read and write the information or the data to the hard disk drive. This connector, this HDC connector is used to insert an integrated digital electronics, that is IDE, integrated digital electronics cable. So this connector is used to insert an integrated digital electronics cable. Now IDE cables connect devices such as hard drives, CD drives and DVD drives. That is, these IDE cables connect devices such as hard disk, CD drives and DVD drives. Next, floppy disk controller. What is floppy disk controller is also called as an FDC. So what is FDC? FDC is also one of the disk controller. This FDC is the interface that directs and controls reading from and writing to computer floppy drive. That is, nowadays we cannot see these floppy drives because we are using the pen drives. So this floppy drive is one of the consideration as a secondary memory or secondary memory device. This floppy drive is a this floppy disk is one of the secondary memory, considered as one of the secondary storage device. In earlier days, this floppy disk contains and space 3/4 inch of space on the plastic like square plastic like material on which the data can be stored. So the floppy disk controller is an interface which directs and controls reading the data from the floppy to computer and writing the data from the computer to floppy disk. So transferring the data from computer to floppy disk drive, the FDC will act as an interface. So FDC usually performs data transmission in direct memory access mode. That is, this FDC performs the transmission of the data in direct memory access mode. Next is an input-output ports and interfaces. So what is input-output ports and interfaces? The port is, before moving to this, we can see the port. A port is a socket on the computer which is used to connect external devices to the computer. So port is what? It is a socket. It is something like a switchboard. It acts like an switching. So it is a socket on the computer used to connect some external devices to the computer. For example, we will plug in the wire of the keyboard. We will plug in the wire of the mouse. We will plug in the wire of the monitor to the CPU. So all these will be connected to the CPU through these sockets or ports. Is it clear? Next, it is used to connect external devices like printer, keyboard or scanner. Next, the different type of input-output ports are serial port, parallel port, USB port and VGA port. Now, serial port, parallel port, USB port and VGA port. These are the various input output ports which are available, or these are the types of the input output ports. Now serial port. Serial port is what? Serial port, also known as communication port or RS232C ports, is used for connecting communication devices like mouse and modem. Now see here, the serial port is also known as a communication port, which is used to connecting communication devices like a mouse and modem. Now modem is, I just told that this modem is useful for the connecting the internet, which converts, this device converts the analog signal into digital signal and digital signal to analog signal. Now they are used for connecting, these serial ports are used to connecting communication devices. These used for connecting communication devices like mouse and modem. This serial port transfers data serially 1 bit at a time. Now these serial ports transfers data serially 1 bit at a time, isn't it? Now one main advantage is that data is sent and received over only 2 lines, that is serial in the sense continuously. So one main advantage is that data is sent and received over only 2 lines. Now the parallel port. Parallel port is what? The parallel ports are used to connect external input or output devices like printers and scanners. So here this is used for connecting mouse and modem, the serial port, and the parallel port is used to connecting external input output devices like printer and scanner. Most probably in everywhere we cannot use the printer and scanner. Wherever there is a need of such devices, in the sense wherever there is a need of an hardware device, hardware output, at that time we will use printers, and wherever there is a need of the inputting the data in the picture format or bulk of the data is transferred or inputted, in such cases we will make use of the scanners. Now also known as, these parallel ports are also known as printer port. So this also called as an what? The parallel ports are also called as an printer port. Now they carry 8 bit or 1 byte at a time. Now these parallel ports can carry the 8 bits, that is 1 byte at a time. 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. So to carry such, it will be used. What is USB port? USB port is nothing but universal serial bus. USB port is used to connect a variety of newer peripherals like printers, scanners, digital cameras, web cameras, speakers, etc. to a computer. So USB port is used to connect a variety of newer peripherals like printers, scanners, digital cameras, web cameras, speakers, etc. to computers. We know that this is a most probable or most asked question. What is USB? So USB is nothing but universal serial bus. This port or this socket is used to connect a variety of newer peripherals such as printers, scanners, digital cameras, web cameras, speakers, etc. onto the computer. The USB port gives a single standardized, easy to use way to connect a variety of newer peripherals to a computer. So USB port gives a single standardized and easy to use way, that is which can be easily used. So easy to use way to connect a variety of newer peripherals to a computer. So USB port gives us what? It is a standardized, easy to way to connect variety of newer peripherals to a computer. The USB is a plug and play interface. Now USB ports acts as an plug and play interface between a computer and add-on devices such as audio players, modem, scanner, etc. In this sense, what? Plug and play in this sense, what? Whenever we plug in the other devices or new devices to the computer, at that time it will accept automatically and it will start acting according to. In this sense, what? When you connect any headphone to the computer, at that time it will never ask you as an this is the new device and I will not accept, or this will be not working. It will not say any such message. It will accept whatever you have inputted the device, you are connected the device, and it will start acting, or it will accept and it will start working. So plug and play in this sense, what? The immediately when we plugging or when we are connecting any device to the computer, at that time it must start accepting that device and it will start acting according to. In the sense, it will accept that device and it will allow us to make use of that device immediately. So this concept is called as a plug and play. So USB is a plug and play interface between the computer and add-on devices. Add-on devices in the sense whichever device we will connect, such as our audio players, any modem, scanner, etc. These modem, scanners or any audio players will not be used regularly. So whenever there is a need, we will make use of these devices. In this sense, whenever we are playing any audio, we are using the headphones. Whenever we are using the internet with using the modem, outside the modem, outside modem, there are two types of modem. One is internal modem and another is external modem. Whenever you are using the external modem, at that time to make use of this modem easily, so that we can work in an easy manner, the modem is used for connecting the internet. Now next, scanner is used for what? The scanner is used for inputting the data in a bulk. In this sense, a huge amount of data can be transferred or can be inputted easily into the computer through the scanner. But the inputted text will be, it may be anything or it may be any type of data, but whatever data you will be input, it will be in the form of images. Whichever data is inputted through the scanner, it will be inputted as an, or it will be accepted as an image. Is that clear? Next, with USB, a new device can be added to your computer. With the USB, a new device can be added to a computer without adding an adapter card or even turning the computer off. That is, whenever we will add or we will make use of any other new device, at that time this USB will not get adding adapter card, there is no need of any adding adapter card, as well as the computer will not be turned off when we are inputting or when we will insert the new device. So with USB, or by using this USB, universal serial bus, a new device can be added to our computer without using any adding adapter or without using any adding adapter, and even the computer without turning the computer off. We can connect the new device to our computer. Next, USB supports a data speed of 12 megabits per second. So this USB supports a data speed of 12 megabits. Here it is a megabit, not megahertz or megabytes. So 12 megabits per second will be the speed of it will support the such speed for any devices connected to it. Now USB supporting up to 127 devices. USB supporting up to 127 devices which can be connected to our computer. Now PS2, personal system port. PS2 is an personal system port. What is PS2? PS2 port was developed by IBM company to interface keyboards and pointing devices like mouse, trackballs and touchpads. So PS2 port is what? This PS2 port is developed by IBM company, which gives us or which facilitates us the interface for input devices such as keyboards and the pointing devices like mouse. The mouse is an pointing device which will give the action or input, through which we can give the action or input such as yes, no, the inputs for commanding. In the sense, command like inputs we can enter into the computer through this mouse and trackball or any touchpads. Now, this PS2 port was developed by the IBM company, and this is used for interface between the interface for the keyboards and mouse and the trackballs, touchpads and so on for such type of input devices. Now IDE, integrated digital electronic ports. So these are the various ports are present, input output ports are present. So what is IDE? IDE is an integrated digital electronics port. So IDE is what? Integrated digital electronics port. It connects IDE devices like CD-ROM drives or hard disk drives to the motherboard. So IDE is an integrated digital electronics port which is used to connect IDE devices like an CD-ROM drives and hard disk drives to the motherboard. CD-ROM drive is nothing but it is also acts as a secondary memory, and hard disk drive, here we can consider a hard disk drive as an your pen drive also. So pen drive also can be considered as a hard disk, but hard disk is what actually the secondary memory device. So such drives in the sense, these are the places or which are drives are nothing but these are the places which allows the CD or which allows the pen drive to insert or to make use of. Is that clear? Next, AGP. AGP is an accelerated graphics port. So it is a AGP is an accelerated graphics port. It is used to connect to graphic cards that provides high speed video performance typically required in games and other multimedia applications. So AGP is an just we have studied AGP, accelerated graphics port, which is used to connect the graphic cards that provides these graphic cards provides high speed video performance typically required in game and other multimedia applications. So to make use of the to play any games or to make use of multimedia applications, we need an graphic card. That graphic card is nothing but which allows us to perform the high speed videos as well as two-dimensional and three-dimensional videos as well as images. So to perform such task there is a need of graphic card. So to connect this graphic card with the computer there is a use of the AGP port, that is accelerated graphic port. Is it clear? Yes. You just go through this video. Again we will discuss, you just go through, dear students, you just go through this video. Again we will discuss if there is any doubts in these all ports and other components of the motherboard, then we will discuss in the Google Meet. Thank you students. Thank you.